Hey, what's up? Hello, I'm Nii in Progress and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, join the fam, bam, and subscribe to my channel. And if you're not new here and you're watching, hello, subscribe. Today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to achieve a quick put together makeup look. This is, I think, the essential steps to looking put together and looking polished out the door in less than 15 minutes. And this video is going to be a little bit of a different style of video, as I'm going to provide you all the tools and all the makeup necessary to achieve this look here. Again, some of these steps are optional and I'll make sure to call those steps out. So in the order of products that I apply, brow product, I am using the ColourPop Brow Boss in the shade dark brown. Then next we will prime with the Revlon Photoready primer, this guy here. And for eyes today, we will be using the Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. If you haven't noticed already, most of these products are affordable and drugstore, yay, and so are the tools. Here's the palette that I will be using today. Option, if you don't have this palette, or if you don't want to go purchase palettes, which you shouldn't go purchase makeup just because, unless you really want it, use a single shadow. I highly recommend shimmer shades and foil shades when you're trying to quickly put makeup on and get out the door and look polished in a very limited time frame. This option here is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Eyeshadow in the shade Amber Rush. As far as mascara goes, the Essence Lash Princess is what we're using today for mascara. Bronzer is optional. Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. You guys should know this by now if you watch me. Here we go to warm up the skin. I think blush is necessary. This is Milani's Luminoso Baked Blush. And this is a really universal shade. I think it could go on folks with lighter skin tones and darker skin tones. For lips, we are using the L'Oreal Paris Signature Rouge Liquid Lip Stain in the shade I Explore. I may have gotten that name wrong, but this is what we're using for lips today, and that is something I shared in my top 5 favorite drugstore videos. If you haven't watched it at all, here's a link to it. You should go watch it. Good stuff on there. And as far as tools go, option for brows as well is the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. If you don't have sparse brows, or as sparse brows as me, and you just want to quickly zhuzh up the brow and add a little bit of definition but not full-on definition like this, and are looking to just fluff them up a little bit, which is totally the style right now, this is a really good product to use as an option instead of the brow pencil that I provided. There are a ton of different products out there on the market in the drugstore that you can find. You don't necessarily have to use these exact products. Use what you have, or find something that works similar to you. We all have different preferences, all have different skin types, all have different skin concerns, all have different objectives. But for this video, those are the products that I'm using. As far as tools in the order of operations go, I will be using the spoolie part of the brow pencil, and let's see here, we will be using, these are optional as well, is the Real Techniques. These came in a set together. This one is the Real Techniques Base Shadow Brush and the Real Techniques Crease Blending Brush. Again, these came in a set together. For the eyes, you are welcome to use that, or I honestly primarily used my finger. And then optional is a angled liner brush. This is the Morphe R45 for liner that I use in my top liner. And for complexion, the e.l.f. complexion sponge. This is a really soft, nice sponge. I think it's like $5 or $6. This is my favorite sponge, so really good products there. And for powder products, we will be using the e.l.f. complexion brush, which is like $2 or $3 to apply our bronzer and our blush. And if you are using liquid, or not liquid, powder foundation, I highly recommend using that as well. Setting spray for everything at the end to make things look cohesive is the Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Setting Spray. This I should have included in the products, but we're just going to include it here now. So those are all the products that I used. I'll go ahead and list them out here below. This is the time where you'll need to go pause, go get the products, and then sit down and watch the rest of this tutorial. I will be skipping out on brows, so if you need a how to do your brows, click the video up here. I'll also include it below. I'll probably be referencing it again as we continue. Let's get into the tutorial. So I've got my brows done. I did them on camera for a different video, killing two birds with one stone. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. I don't have very much time to film. Saturday mornings and one night of the weeknight, they're the only times I can film. The rest of the week in the evenings, I'm trying to edit and get ahead of my content. Anyways, if you want to know how I do my brows and a beginner's guide to brows, click up here, the eye. I'll link it down in the description box below as well. Since not everybody needs to do brows, I didn't think that I needed to make this video super long and share with you how I do brows, so I made a separate video for that, so check it out. But I usually start with brows, and then once I'm done with brows, and if you don't do brows, you can move on to this next step, which is priming. And I shared with you all, I will be using the Revlon Photoready Perfecting Primer. This primer is meant to fill in pores, and I just got some of that product ricocheted back at me. You can kind of see some, yeah, you can see some in my hair. Very nice. This product is really good for filling in the pores, and it's best to press and roll, or just like press this into your skin where you are most porous. Man, my nose is red from all the nose blowing. Wonderful. And I like to prime ahead of time, even though the next step we will be working on is really eyes. So for eyes today, I shared with you we will be using the Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. And how I like to quickly use this product, and in general, when you're trying to just get out the door, if you only have like 15 minutes or so to get ready, I like to use shimmer shades as the only shade on my lid. You can use mattes too, but if you're trying to look like you cared without putting much effort in, which is what this video is all about, but also trying to look a little bit more, oh, you did stuff today. Shimmers are the way to go. They're also just a lot more forgiving. And this palette comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 shimmers here. They are this shade here, and then these two shades here. Everything else is matte. I think this is a really good starter palette for any of you beginners out there that don't want to dab in color and just want something neutral and natural. And we're gonna take the shade, the numbers are in the back, but I'm just gonna point to the shade. We are gonna take this shade here. It's like this creamy type of shade, and we're gonna take it on my finger, and we're actually just gonna apply it directly onto the lid and pat. These are really soft and very nice. And then what I'll do is start sweeping into the crease, and I will go dip back into the product and build that color up for the opacity. I am not priming my eyes today, only because this is like a, again, quick out the door type of video. Then I'll take that Real Techniques brush, and actually, you can either use this brush that I shared with you. It actually came in a set together with this Real Techniques crease brush. It is a blending brush for your crease, or you could use this blending brush, either or, just a brush to sweep the product into your crease. Back and forth, windshield wiper motions, so that there's no harsh lines and it's just blended. I think that's the key to with really looking put together and just like you put a lot of effort into your makeup look, is having things blended out. So now I will go dip back in and we'll do the other eye. Like, you could truly be messier with this. And if you don't have a brush, you could honestly just use your finger the way that I'm doing right now and just sweeping up and not using any additional product and sweeping into your crease. There you go. I think I'm gonna zoom you guys in for this. And then this next step is really optional. If you're like me, where you don't have a lot of, I have lashes, but they're very, very thin. I like to go in and create kind of a liner. And with this palette, you can use the black to do so. I will be taking a Morphe R45, and it is an angled brush. You can find Morphe at Ulta or online. This is an affordable brush. It's like $5 or $6. And I will dip into this black here just a couple times, tapping off the excess, and then using this to line my top lash line. And I won't line heavily. I will just line to give some of my eyes some definition, and it really just draws attention to your eye. Even just that little bit made such a big difference. Can you see? Cool. And then I'll dip one more time, tapping off the extra, going in, not creating a wing or anything like that, just lining the top of my eye. Once I am finished with that step, again, that was optional, I'll take my eyelash curler, go ahead and curl my lashes up. I like to pulse a little bit and assess the situation, and then maybe do one more, but instead of going all the way to the base of my lashes, I will go halfway because my lashes are not very long, nor are they super curled up. I will do the second half, or do it from the halfway point to really curl the ends of my lashes, so you can kind of see some of my lashes here. And now we'll be using mascara. Today we're using the Essence Lash Princess in the mint green tube. I find that this guy is the best out of the Lash Paradise collection. I'm trying to get it to focus. Here is the wand, and it's a pretty wet formula. I like to take the ends and the excess and go in with 2 coats. This is 1 coat to me, is using 1 dip and distributing that product from the base of your lashes to the tips and wiggling on the way up. And that's really to help separate the lashes so they don't get clumped together. Sometimes I will smudge the mascara. I'm sure this happens to everybody. And I'll either take a Q-tip, which I don't have around me right now, or just my finger and lightly dab it off. And that is 1 coat. Love this stuff. And then we will dip back in, getting the excess off and going in on the other eye for the first coat. Once I've got 1 coat down, I'll go ahead and dip back in, taking the excess off, and go in a second time. It's 2 coats. And I will do my bottom mascara, or the bottom lash line with this mascara after we do complexion. So with complexion, I shared with you we will be using your e.l.f. complexion sponge. It's super soft, it's still a little damp, and then the Revlon Colorstay normal dry formula. I really liked how this applied, and I don't think that this one in particular necessarily needs setting powder. And for a quick, like, out the door, not like quick, but fairly quick and simple out the door look, you don't necessarily want to be adding too many steps to your makeup routine. if I weren't going step by step with you guys, this whole thing would maybe take 15 minutes. This is kind of what I do for work when I have a little bit more time. If I don't have time because I'm running late or I just don't feel like it, slash I'm trying to get the kid ready and it's not going well, I will skip out the liner step and just do mascara. I will not skip out on brows because I refuse since I don't have many brow hairs. And what I love about sponges is you could just quickly get it in, blend it in into your face fairly fast. So efficient. Cool. I'm gonna let that set down naturally a little bit and start zooming you out. Sorry for the zoom in, zoom out, but I wanted to make sure that I could focus on the eyes with you, and then for the face, we will finish off. I know that I said I would set this down, but just want to make sure it is blended out and I didn't miss any spots and there's no streaks. And it's really important that you take your foundation a little bit down the neck, just so you don't have like a harsh line, because sometimes your foundation may oxidize, which is after it's been sitting on your face and it hits, gets exposed to oxygen, the color will change a little bit. That's not to say that every single foundation is like that. There are foundations that definitely do that. So it's a safe bet to blend down your neck just a little bit, especially behind your ear, because that's where I find I see most women and their foundation like as a stark line. Great. Now bronzing, I think, is an optional step. If you're not into bronzer, if that's not your thing, to have a little bit more definition and dimension to your skin and you just want to quickly get out the door, I definitely think blush is a necessity and an essential step. But for me, bronzer is also an essential step. You can skip this step and go straight to blush if you are not into bronzer, but I will take that e.l.f. brush and just tap this product in and swirl a little bit, tap off any excess, and start buffing and blending in big circular motions. And I don't like to do a full contour. Now, if you don't know what contouring, it's really creating like shadows on your face, but I do like to add bronzer because it adds warmth back to your face. So putting on foundation, you just have it's very flat and there's not a lot of life to your skin. And adding bronzer adds back some warmth and saturation to your skin. So I will go ahead and blend this in, focusing on the high points of my cheek. I think that's the best place to focus this, because what bronzer does is it creates that natural effect where the sun would naturally hit your face and warm up your skin. That's what you're trying to create without the sun on you. What's nice about this butter bronzer too is it's hard to over apply. I'll take it down the cheek a little bit and also at the top of the forehead. That is where the sun will hit naturally. And I like to take mine a little bit just with the excess product under the neck to create a little shadow. So you can kind of see, I'm going to turn down this light. Oops. You can kind of see that this side of the face has a little bit of shadow and definition, whereas this side of the face has nothing. We changed the lighting a little bit. Here's Luminoso. It is more of a peachy toned blush. And we're gonna take the e.l.f. complexion brush. You can use the same exact brush that you use for bronzer, but I would make sure there's like no additional product by like rubbing it at the top of your hand, because what you don't want is bronzer to be put on your cheek and then you just have a brown cheek. So we're gonna dust some of this product, tap, and I like to smile a little bit to get the apples of my cheeks and then sweep back just a little to add color to the face. I think that blush is a really good way to create dimension and to add a little bit of color and life back to your face for sure. Okay, and to set the face, we're going to be using my favorite setting spray. You don't have to set your face. Again, this is another optional step, but I like to set my face with the Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Setting Spray. What setting sprays do is either elongate the wear of your makeup, but then it also just makes your makeup so cohesive. So if you're using a lot of powder products, like if instead of a liquid foundation you used a powder foundation and then use powder blush or powder bronzer, what it does is it takes off that powdery look and really just melts it into your skin so all your makeup is cohesive. And then this one in particular adds a little bit of a radiance and glow, for lack of a better word, but it does add a little bit of a sheen to your skin to make your skin a lot more radiant and glowy. Let's go ahead and spritz. I like to spritz a little bit here. Let's go 1, 2, 1, 2. And I think that is actually enough, but if you're extra like me, I tend to do a couple extra spritzes. Let that dry. A really good trick is to use your blender, your sponge, and press lightly after spritzing just to get that all to the face. For lips, we're gonna use, I shared this on my top 5 favorite drugstore lip products. It's a L'Oreal Signature Rouge Liquid Lip Stain. It's this guy right here, and this is in the shade I Explore, neutral shade. And I love this because you can be really quick to swipe. Go in. And it lasts pretty much all day. Now, if you truly don't have time to put your lips together and do your lipstick, I think a gloss would be a better option, like the NYX Butter Gloss that I shared in that video as well. This is the finished look for a quick put together look that should take you 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now, I will say asterisk 10 to 15 minutes because brows are definitely optional, and for me brows are a necessity, and the eyeliner is also optional and bronzer is optional. So I will make sure, let's go ahead and outline the steps that we did to achieve this makeup look, and I'll make sure that you know which of those are optional. So 1, brows, but that is optional. If you don't do brows, then skip on to the next, which is priming your skin. Priming your skin really sets an even base for your skin, and this primer that I use today really eliminates your pores and makes your skin look really nice and even and flat and healthy and not porous at all. Number 3 is eyes. I use the Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette today to do the eyeshadow, which was a quick swipe on with your finger and then blend it up. Option, you can use a brush if you want it, if you want to be more precise in your blending per se, or wanting to make sure that your eyeshadow is truly blended out. And then mascara, curling your lashes, mascara. It is optional to do your lower lash line. Like I could go in right now if I really wanted to, but I don't, and you can after you, I would do it after you set your face. And after that is complexion. So I used a liquid foundation, powder foundations if you would like to use, if you have more oilier skin, better for you. Another way to be really fast with makeup is actually using a powder foundation. But I find liquid foundations with a sponge is a really good way to just pat it on there, get out the door, just making sure that it's not a foundation that you need to set and that won't move or transfer throughout the day. And then bronzing is an optional step. Blush is a necessity. And then lips and setting. And honestly, you can go throughout those and mixing your orders a little bit. You don't have to do it in the order of operations that I provided. That's just how I do my makeup. And if you like these kind of tutorials in the style of giving you all the products at the beginning that you're gonna need and the tools that you're gonna need, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and bonus points for you if you ring the bell to get notified for whenever I upload. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye!